Welcome, ladies, gentlemen, and my non-binary folks out there. My name's Carlos Rodriguez, your doctor recommended dose of nerdiness, aka your Nerd a Day, and you are here yet again with another episode of the Nerd a Day podcast as we reach forward and closer to episode 100. I can't believe this long journey, man. We're almost at 100 episodes. That's crazy. It's been a little bit since we had our last episode, The Meaning of PlayStation. I'm hoping you're enjoying it. It's getting a lot of good numbers, a lot of good traction out there, so I really appreciate it. And if you're a new subscriber to Nerd a Day on YouTube, thank you very much. If you're a new listener, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Happy Hispanic Heritage Month as well, because we are in that moment right now. And support your local Latinx creator out there. Show them some love, spread all the love and joy out there in the world. But that's not why we're here today. We're going to talk about some news, some breaking news coming out of Microsoft's camp. But before we get into that as well, before we get into everything, I got to give a shout out to the people who make the show happen, my Patreons. That's right. If you want to support me, you can support me over at patreon.com/nerdaday. Links are below for audio and video. I like these fine folks out there, like hopefully awesome, Matt and Maggie. You guys are awesome. Check out their Going Back to Smallville. They just did over the summer a Ninja Turtles retrospective podcast. Can't wait to dive into that. Haven't had the time yet. Love you guys. I haven't had the time yet. I'm definitely going to do that. Jeff Felsher, my brother from another mother. All right, man. Listen, I text you about that PlayStation. This is your reminder yet again. Let me know when you're free. And when I'm free, I'll just drop that off for you. Susan, sits from another mister. Just a lovely person out there in the world. Always supported me. Always super awesome and just amazing. And her and her partner Zach just got me Spanish candy from Chicago. I'm so excited. Can't wait to see them again soon. Rest Pass, my partner in crime over at Apron Work Podcast. That's right. I have a wrestling podcast. You can see it down below in the links. We are amazing. We're the best Philadelphia-based wrestling podcast. Don't look up those metrics. Just assume they're correct. We just recently talked about CM Punk getting fired. We are actually at episode 100. We're figuring out what to do for episode 100. But yeah, we did that. So we're really excited for episode 100 of Apron Work Podcast coming soon as we iron out those details. And finally, Brandon, my big brother out there, love you so much, man. Thank you for the support as always. Might be hitting you up soon since that Twitter thing's dying slowly but surely. And then I have other platforms I am currently on that I, show love to. But all that out the way. Again, thank you for supporting me. Thank you for staying with me. Little bit of a break, from normal contact. We've been doing Chaos Bringers, which is my Final Fantasy retrospective podcast. You can see it on the channel if you're on YouTube on audio. I should have a link below for both the audio and video of Chaos Bringers. If you love Final Fantasy, please check us out. It's me, Frank, and Har from Point of Progress as we go through the Final Fantasy series one by one. Play that. Didn't want to shout it out too much in our meeting of podcast episode, specifically about PlayStation, just because I had other people there and I wanted to shine lights on them. Like Trophy Room, again, Kyle, Joe, thank you for showing up, being there for me. We had literally like one of the best episodes of Nerd Day podcast I've had yet. And Kevin Diaz, the future of the gaming industry, I'm telling you right now. IGN Zone, he did not, again, to clarify, he did not give a score for Starfield. Do not send him messages. I'll see. I think you'll see some of these faces soon on Chaos Bringers, man. I'm gonna bring some other faces, like a rotating fourth chair, maybe. Have some thoughts. Pardon me, I lost. It's all this stuff, man. I'm just so excited to be back doing Nerd a Day content. It's been a minute, like I said. But today, we're doing something special, I guess. We're going to talk about some breaking news that happened earlier this week. And it's something I've kind of avoided. It's been very daunting to kind of, as a content creator, someone who, wants to do this full time, but is unfortunately doing it part time because of, prior engagements, whether it be my other full-time job, my actual full-time job that actually pays the bills. my commitments as a father, a husband, which I love doing all that stuff. They take precedent over this. And they're trying to, get Chaos Bringers off the ground. I haven't really covered this much. I covered it a little bit in the beginning when Xbox was initially, doing the bid and wanting to buy Activision Blizzard. A lot has happened since that last episode. Um, and, some good, some bad. There's a lot of weirdness that's come out of it. Like the government, the FTC being like, nah, it's not happening. Then the government being like, nah, it is happening. And then them appealing and it's not happening. But it's a whole legal thing. We're not going to get too into it because, again, very daunting to my mental health to try and even tackle that. But what we're going to do is, because of the FTC and the appeal, Xbox has some documents they had to, send to a secure cloud thing. We're going to talk about all of that. And some of the leaks, unfortunately, because they weren't all redacted. And we all got to see it because it's a public filing, and there's a lot of stuff we're going to talk about, specifically about Xbox, their future plans within the next year. And what's it, 2023? 5 years from now? God, it's going to be crazy. But links will be down below for like a total, it's like a page on The Verge that has all their articles from Tom Warren, Jay Peters, Sean Hollister. Specifically, these three I'm pulling from their articles. But you'll see the whole breakdown of all different notes, and they have each article about like a new controller, everything else. Mega thread, basically, article you'll see below. So, and pardon me if I'm not looking directly at you if you're watching. My beautiful eyes are going to be looking at my notes here. So I do apologize about that. But here we go. This is what could be honestly the biggest leak in video game history. I'm saying it's the biggest leak in video game history because it's so much of behind the doors, closeted stuff that you would not see, maybe unless it's like an E3 presentation, a showcase, something like that. A Gamescom, opening night live, something like that. Something Jeff Keighley would have been like, this is the new Xbox. We're going to be talking about that stuff. And specifically, we're just going to be talking about the hardware, software side. We're not going to be talking about their thoughts on buying Nintendo and things like that. So, just to summarize, this is the biggest leak, in my opinion, that we've had in video games. And it's going to be interesting. We should be hearing soon within the week about, the UK's, the CMA over there. It's kind of like their FTC, their ruling on what Microsoft, purchasing Activision Blizzard. And we're still in this kind of limbo section with the appeal in the US. That's what it looks like it's going to go through, but we don't know for sure. But with all that out of the way, I do appreciate you staying with me. Again, this is a whole news dump. It's going to be a lot, but I think we have a lot of interesting things we could talk about here. Like, first, we are going to talk about Microsoft's new diskless Xbox. Oh my goodness, that was a lot already. I'm just struggling with these words. New diskless Xbox Series X design with a lift-to-weight controller. The code name of the console is going to be Brooklyn. It has a trash can design, to me similar to is it not a Mac? I don't want to call it like a Mac Pro, but like a Mac. I forget what they're called, but I'm talking about like the Mac Studios, or not even the studios, but like I guess they're just Mac Pros. I'm not a Mac guy. I have a PC that I built, and it's got some okay parts. But it has a similar design to me to that. Seems like it keeps like the ventilation toward the top, like your refrigerator looking Xbox Series X. There's also a Series S model refresh. Well, not model refresh, internal refresh that kind of is in line with what Brooklyn is doing. So, as I mentioned, it has a trash can design, USB-C port in the front, 2 terabytes of internal storage, up from the 1 terabytes that's in it, but it's not actually 1 terabyte. It's like, I don't know, when I installed everything, it was like 800 gigs, which was very frustrating, taking 200 gigs from me, but the velocity architecture, all that stuff, I get it. I don't know. Wi-Fi 6E, Bluetooth 5.2. Again, no disk drive. A new controller style, and everything is going to be priced at $499, similar to the launch price of the original Series X when it launched. So that's one of the most interesting things. Brooklyn is codenamed Brooklyn. The design, I think, is pretty cool. I'll try to have an image up on the video. working on my editing as well. I'll probably have an image up if you're a visual watcher. But the design itself is pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. It is pretty decent. The USB-C port on the front, I think, is very intuitive and very important, especially me, someone who has, I'll have this right here, the Steel Series Arctis 7X. This is the first generation, not the newer one. I would do want the newer one. They look pretty. Steel Series, what's up, man? Hit me up. I got that one specifically because I could use it on my PlayStation 5 and my Xbox Series X. But it's easy because it has a USB-C dongle. And so for PlayStation, you just plug the dongle in right in front because it has a USB-C port. For Xbox, surprisingly enough, there's a attachment basically like USB-C to A. And you just I don't know, it looks ugly. So this is gonna be nice for that specifically USB-C for C port in the front. I guess with charging as well, you just have C to C cords and things like that. 2 terabytes, I think, is very important. Um, I think I would have bitten the bullet as an early adopter of Xbox Series X. I mean, within the first year of its launch, I, as a consumer, would assume or would have, I think, bit the bullet as Microsoft, like coming from the consumer side, pardon me, and seeing Xbox like what they're doing, and I think they're doing a lot of good things. Game Pass, I think, is very, very good thing. I think they're getting a little bold, especially with purchasing stuff now, and of course, corporate consolidation, slippery slope. But with a lot of this, I think buying the original Series X, I wish it was 2 terabytes out the box. I think a lot of us thought it should be that. And I think a lot of us were very critical of both PlayStation and Xbox, and they both did things, right and wrong with the launch of those consoles and their storage options. Right, PlayStation 5, you cannot add an M.2 until I want to say like a year in, maybe a year and a half. I could be wrong. Let me know in the comments down below. Tweet at me. But I think it was like about a year in when they had the software stuff. Like internally, you can do it. They just didn't have it in a section software wise where they can do it until about a year in, I want to say. And while you can buy, M.2s on Amazon, there was a big sale as of today's recording on M.2s, and you get a heatsink for pretty cheap and you're good to go. You still had to wait about a year to do that. And you're very capitated to the internal storage, that you had, unless, you can have external, but similar to Xbox, it didn't mimic the internals. With Xbox, you had the Velocity architecture, which, helps with quick resume and a lot of the internal specs with the Xbox and their specific hard drive. I think it's very well done. It is proprietary technology. So they have proprietary means to expand your next gen hard drive, right? So they had these basically memory cards you can buy. They were super expensive though. Seagate for the longest time was the only company allowing you to purchase one. They had like a little exclusivity deal between Xbox and Seagate on like an expansion card. Now Western Digital has one as well, and the prices do vary. So now there's a competition in that field, and I know they go from like 500 gigs, a terabyte, to 2 terabytes, and you just pop it in the back. There's a little like a port, and you're good to go. Where it's nice that is plug and play. You don't have to worry about screws and trying to, heat sinks and all that stuff. The issue is it's proprietary. For the longest time, again, just Seagate. And the price point to get that, very, very steep. My brother-in-law got one like day one, and hey, listen, his kids are grown, mine are not. He's got a really good job that pays very well. He's been there forever. I've been at my job for a very long time, and that's, I don't know who's watching, but pay wise, it could be better. It could be better. It could be better, like many Americans out there, and probably many people in the world, but. It was a little difficult. I was very critical of it in my other videos as well when we were talking about the unboxing the Xbox and talking about purchasing my Xbox a year later. I was very critical of that, and I thought the proprietary thing's always an issue. But I think now with this new 2 terabyte faster Wi-Fi, better Bluetooth to kind of connect to this new controller as well, which we'll get to in a moment. Um, I think there's a lot to go here, and I think it's very good. I'm wondering as well, do we get a price decrease for what would be the base Xbox Series X and Series S when we see those come out? Because alongside this as well, we're going to get a Series S refresh. The body's going to stay the same. It will be 1 terabyte, similar to the newly launched Series S. You know, I don't know if you're an Xbox fan, you know what I'm talking about. It's a black Series S. It has like better internal storage, but that's really it. This will have the 6E, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth 5.2. It will come bundled in with that new controller, which we'll get into in a moment. It will come in at the same price point at which I believe was 300 for the Series S when it launched as that console, and will have 1 terabyte instead of 512 gigabytes. Which again, not a lot. But similar internals, like it'll do 2K, not 4K or 8K as Series X claims to have on the box. And everything that comes with that. So they're gonna launch sometime in the next year, maybe this time next year. We're in September, so maybe November 2024. That's what they're looking at. And then with, as I've mentioned a couple times, we're getting a new controller codenamed Sebel or Sebel. I think I'm gonna call it Sebel because it sounds cool. I don't know. And to me, this is the most interesting thing. So it's going to be sold separately as well. You don't have to specifically have to buy a Brooklyn or the Series S version of the Brooklyn. You will get this bundled in, but you can also buy it separately for $70. Pardon me again. It includes an accelerometer, which should, according to the Verge article, which again, all links are down below, you can merely just lift the controller up from I don't want to say dead state, but like from a sleep state, right? The controller. So I have my Series X controller here. It's perfect. This is my PC. That's what I use for PC. So you'll just be able to pick this controller up and then it'll automatically turn on, right? So you'll have that. It'll wake this up and it should wake up. I guess you could set it up to wake up your Series X, your Brooklyn or the Series S, whatever it is, but it should wake those up. This as well, it's gonna have a new two-tone color scheme. It's really ugly. Again, if I'm really good with the editing, it should be right here. You'll see it, or you saw it right before. Not a big fan of how it looks. I am interested in the internals. It'll have direct connection to the cloud, similar to Stadia. Shout out to Fee and Aaron Seeley. Rest in peace. Their podcast, not them. They're alive. And I'm glad because I love both of them. They're awesome people. But I meant Stadia is dead. Long live Stadia, I guess. Xbox? I don't know. But it'll connect to the cloud, which should help with a lot of mobile gaming and things like that. I'll have Bluetooth 5.2 built into the controller as well. And it should have what's been called internally an Xbox Wireless 2 connection, which is like what it connects to with the Xbox. So that's where you get kind of a lot of low latency stuff. Xbox Series X controller, by the way. I mentioned this in the meeting of PlayStation podcast. Really damn good controller. The only reason I put PlayStation above it is because, again, 6-axis and the DualShock 3 were so dog trash controllers that the DualShock 4 and the DualSense are just so much better, and it just makes me so happy. I just wish they weren't so big. My kids struggle. But with the internal documents as well, Microsoft also lists precision haptic feedback. VCA haptics double as speakers. I don't know what that specifically means. We'll see closer to this. Apparently, it's going to be, I think it's going to be launching in February time. Happy birthday to me and Kevin Diaz. He's awesome. And it should, or at least be announced around this time and maybe come closer to the launch of the Brooklyn, Project Brooklyn. So I don't know what specifically the speakers are. I would like to see, I'm sure there'll be some awesome trailer about like, this is what it does. And we'll react to that. Nerd Today Reacts, youtube.com/Nerd Today. But for the specs of the controller as well, we're going to have quieter buttons, thumbsticks, rechargeable and swappable batteries, and modular thumbsticks, which again, the notes don't really go into what that specifically means. Can you just swap them out? Are they these the magnetic ones like in the 8-bit dough? Um the no stick drift, hopefully, things like that. We're not sure just yet, but that is hardware wise in the near future, within the next year or a little over a year, because we're in September as of this recording. That's what we're going to see, and that's a big bulk of news from Xbox, and it all got leaked, which is so heartbreaking for that team, right? Because as in this industry of video games, something that I love watching, consuming this media and things like that, and consuming video game content in general, we live for these moments, right? These shadow drops, these hype trailers, these things that like showcases, things like that. We just had the recent PlayStation showcase and the Nintendo Direct. Shout out to Share Screens. You can see my video with them over there, youtube.com/share screens. But when like I live for those moments. Those moments are amazing. Seeing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, seeing Halo Infinite for the first time, things like that. You live for these moments, and to have everything like leak like this and just up in just a PDF basically in a PowerPoint, of all things, God forbid, a PowerPoint, and in this way, it's so absolutely heartbreaking, for that team. It sucks so bad. And there was some Sony stuff too that came out, and we don't know where exactly. This seems a lot more legit than the PlayStation stuff, where it might be another console refresh, which again, because of the last generation, we kind of assumed a lot of this will happen. But to see these leaks or to talk about in a way where we don't see anything. Now, mind you, we're also coming off, and this is a little segue away from Xbox, but we're also coming from a VGC article talking about at Gamescom a few weeks back. There were people playing this new Switch, right? This new Switch 2, apparently, or whatever this will be called. Kind of giving you an idea of what the internals are. That's going to work on DLSS. It's a lot there. I don't have all the notes right here, but I think in a way that's okay because it's like a dev kit. This is specifically like what it's going to look like at the end, what they're targeting, what they want, and they can't have that kind of. And some people will like it, some people won't. Because I like when PlayStation does it in a respectful way, and I like it when Xbox it doesn't, especially. But that like kind of tapping, like, look what we did, guys. Look what we made. We made this awesome controller. Look, it's got cloud controls, just like another thing that's dead, but we're not going to mention it. You can swap your battery, and you can recharge it. This is a third party thing I bought because I hate batteries. Like here's this like new diskless version of the Xbox Series X with more internal hard drive space, with better Wi-Fi, with better Bluetooth, and that awesome ass controller. Man, it just sucks. It sucks to see that. And we're gonna get to a little more sucky news because now we have also leaks. We have some unannounced Bethesda games. Like pardon me, I have really dry throat and I did not realize that. Don't podcast without water, ladies and gentlemen, my non-binary folks out there, pardon me. We have, so with these documents, there was some other stuff again. There was emails about, Phil Spencer wanted to purchase Nintendo. We're not going to talk about that in this one. Not that I don't want to cover it. It's a lot. I'm specifically focusing on the hardware software side, as well. Them downplaying like the impact Baldur's Gate 3 was going to have. And they were like, nah, we don't need it on Game Pass. Psh, missed opportunity. Because can you imagine the 1-2 punch of Starfield and Baldur's Gate 3 on Game Pass? Bro. Come on. Phil, you're getting too big on your britches, man. I'm telling you, don't do that. Don't do that. Back up. Back away from the sun. Just like Icarus, bro. Anyway. Sorry, a little tangent. It's been a while since I podcasted and specifically talked to y'all, so I apologize. If you're new, unfortunately, this is not out in the realm of what normally is a Nerd Today podcast. If you're not new, thank you for keeping with the shenanigans. But yeah, next we have a few unannounced Bethesda games like Elder Scrolls 3 Oblivion Remaster, Doom Year Zero, which we don't know what that is, Fallout 3 Remaster, a sequel to Ghostwire Tokyo, Dishonored 3. A little more talk about Indiana Jones. And we have two projects, Kestrel and Project Platinum, which there was nothing listed, and then as well a quote unquote licensed IP game. That's all that was literally there, but kind of confirmation that we're gonna get a remaster of Oblivion. I'm sure down the line we'll get Skyrim. Well, no, we are Skyrim. That's been released a million times. Oblivion, Fallout 3, two of Bethesda's greatest games. I don't know what this Doom Year Zero is. This is very interesting to me because I'm interested to see that does this leave off where Eternal left off. Is this about like Doom guys' time in hell? There's lore in Doom. It's awesome. You should read it if you don't want to play the games. If you play the games, it's littered everywhere. Yeah, and then I can't wait to see Machine Games Indiana Jones, but we've all been patiently waiting for that. That's nothing new. If you're a Dishonored fan, Dishonored 3 is coming out. Hopefully it'll run better than Redfall. Sorry for that. People who played that game. Licensed IP game. I'm wondering what that means because we already have an IP here in Indiana Jones. What else is Bethesda working on that is a licensable IP? You know, is it a Marvel game? That'd be pretty cool, right? Pardon me again. Because Marvel Games has that initiative where they don't like make games in house. They work with other studios like Insomniac, Spider-Man 2 coming out very soon, right around the corner, and things of that nature. Like I'm really interested to see. And obviously, again, there's no clue whatsoever what this licensed IP. It could be a Nickelodeon game. It could be like Wild Thornberries. Wow, I really dated myself. Is that what the kids watch now? SpongeBob still think maybe it's a Bethesda SpongeBob, open world game. Who knows? You get to blow up a nuke in Bikini Bottom. That's what it is. Stupid. And then just a couple things to round out everything. We already talked about the hardware within the next year project, Project Brooklyn, which is the Xbox Series X and S refreshes. Project Sebel, which is going to be a controller bundled in with them, cloud, direct to cloud gaming stuff and all that beautiful jazz. Seems like it might have some haptics similar to PlayStation 5, which is very exciting because, again, I love that controller. But with all this, we have basically what is an announcement of when next gen's coming. So, according to the document, it seems like the next generation of video games is going to start in 2028, which thank God. If I start saving now for that console, I probably should be able to afford it in 2029. Because bills are expensive. You know what I mean? Ooh, so bad out here, guys. It's bad out here. But according to this, again, PowerPoint, it looks like it's going to be a hybrid cloud gaming platform. On the slide, it says our vision is to develop a next generation hybrid game platform capable of leveraging the combined power of the client and cloud to deliver deeper immersion in entirely new classes of game experiences. So, what does that mean? In what way are we going to be using the cloud, right? Because I don't know if you guys remember, with the launch of Microsoft Flight Simulator, in which, again, I'm not a flight simulator person, but that was such a massive map break because you can go around the world, and now it has Dune and all this other stuff. But you go around the world in these different airplanes and stuff, and they have bright maps, trajectories and stuff. It uses actually apparently the cloud to help offset some of the, the weight, I guess, of the game. To use like a term like that, like the weight of what is it's processing at that time graphically, with the engine, everything background. Especially on the console, like it's using the cloud to help with that. So I think that was kind of a test bed, right? To see what can we do. A lot of this stuff we should be able to do now. I didn't have it. I don't know why I didn't write it here, but as well, they talked about like working with AMD's. I think they said Zen 6 processors, which I think we're on Zen 4 that just came out, or 5, or maybe it might be Zen 7. Like it's like basically 2 CPU processors like next, right? That's what they're going to be working on. And graphically, maybe cloud with whatever 2 generations of AMD, hardware we're going to work with in that sense as well, like whatever, like graphically we're going to be working with ahead of time in those 2 years, like, or 2 generations, pardon me. And that, 'cause, computers kind of go a little quicker than consoles. So that's what we're kind of looking at with the internals of this. But where does the cloud fit into this? It's hard to, because even in 2023, right, with AI and cloud technology, and mind you, I'm not like a proponent for AI, but I'm sure you can use some machine learning for little things with, obvious barriers and, no one taking the world like Skynet. Uh, my son could probably be John Connor at this point. Oh, that makes my wife Sarah Connor. Nice. Nice. Oh, that makes me Kyle Reese. That means I die. Spoilers for a movie that even actually came out before I was born. Believe it or not, if you're young enough to and you're watching me, this is not fake gray. This is real. Anyway, yeah, what does that mean? Could they offset and use some machine learning to help graphically with the game? I think this next generation, I think we're going to see some stuff, especially with the implementation. Oh, I'm messing up that word, but with the onset of DLSS, right, being used in NVIDIA cards, like I got a 30 series card right here, 40 series cards. I mean, as of recording, Cyberpunk 2.0 basically came out, and if you have it on PC with a brand new like video card, it's DLS 3.5, right, where it has a bunch of things that it helps with. Looks like that new Switch might have DLSS to help offset some stuff. Are we seeing something like that where you have like the internal architecture of this next graphics system in this next generation console kind of being like, all right, we can hit 8K, but we're running on 4K. We're going to make you look like 8K because of our little machine learning thing. And we're also offsetting all the data that's in the cloud to help us like offload some of that power. Like, it's going to be really interesting to see, especially now as well, not to even factor in, Xbox Cloud Gaming and that whole initiative. It's a lot to take in, and it's going to be very interesting to see how we move on these next. And that's, according to this document, that's possibly in 2028. We have 5 years. What technology is going to change in 5 years that we haven't even seen, that we don't know about? What can change? And that all goes into this as well. I want to end here with Phil Spencer. Spoke about the leaks in a memo. You can read the full memo again in The Verge, little big breakdown, full article and within article thing. It'll be linked down below. But his tweet, he also tweeted out like a shortened version of it. And it says, we've seen the conversation around old emails and documents. It's hard to see our team's work shared in this way because so much has changed and there's so much to be excited about right now and in the future. We will share the real plans when we are ready. So, how old are these documents? Is that just him trying to deflect the severity and the impact of what we've seen with the biggest leak in video game history, in my opinion? Is that him just being like, yeah, it's not that bad. You guys don't even know what's coming. You guys don't even know. You guys don't even know that the Brooklyn system, not even a black console, is going to be red. All red, everything, baby. We're changing Xbox colors. It's going to be red. Is he just deflecting just to deflect, or is he, is this something that like, hey, this was a year ago. This is what Brooklyn looked like, with Series S and X. It's nowhere near that. 3 terabytes when it comes out. It's Wi-Fi 7 when it comes out. We're eating the cost on that. Sebel, not two-tone color controller. By the way, I keep talking about it because it looks ugly. It's if I don't somehow edit it into this, you'll see it's like it literally ends right here. It's like black, and then this is white. Someone said it looks like it's wearing jeans. Like it put pants on. Probably looks like me when I'm getting ready for work and I put my undershirt and my like nice pants on. It's so stupid. It's probably as wide as I am. All right, that's enough. What has changed? What if this 2028 plan is not 2028? Maybe it's 2026. Yeah, 2026, 2027. Maybe that's when the next generation of consoles coming out. Maybe it's not this cloud architecture, which again, we don't know. But we have these slides that are legit to see. Is this deflection? Is this poker face talk from Phil Spencer? Or is this legit? Is it gonna it has it changed already? And we just don't know. We don't, to quote Joel Embiid from the Sixers, because we're in Philly, trust the process. Like maybe we don't trust the process to see what is about to happen, what we're about to get, and maybe we are going to be pleasantly surprised when we come into, I don't know, summer 2027, Summer Games Fest 2027. Jeff Keighley in the metaverse. Oh God, I hate even saying that. I hope that doesn't actually happen. I want Jeff Keighley to be there, but I don't want no metaverse. You know, it's just TVs and the internet. It's fine. Um, what if he's there with Phil Spencer? He's like, well, all right, well, so you've been talking about this, this, I don't know, this is a horrible Phil Spencer. Not Phil Spencer, Jeff Keighley impression, but hey, you've been talking about, this new next generation, and the elephant in the room, we saw some stuff, that, leaked a couple years ago. So what is it time? Is this it? And he's like, yeah, this is, this is the next generation of Xbox. As we mentioned, it isn't what you thought it was. This is what it is. It's launching with Call of Duty 18, day and date, using the cloud. I don't know. We'll see. But that's about it. I'm going to about wrap it up right here. Interesting times of video games, my ladies and gentlemen, and my non-binary folk out there. It's going to be interesting to see where we go, what changes in the future, what what PlayStation does. What, I don't know, man. It's just so exciting though at the same time to just be a fan of video games. Just to be talking about video games. And this is, listen, we're in 2023 and it's literally one of the best years of video games. And we have, again, I'm not playing some of these games due to money constraints or timing or anything like that, but we are on the eve of Spider-Man 2. If you're a big Assassin's Creed fan, Assassin's Creed Mirage. We had Resident Evil 4 remake come out, Dead Space remake come out, both killed it. No pun intended. Baldur's Gate 3, which came out the gate, is probably going to be game of the year. Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. We got a competitor in the wrestling video game sense with AEW Fight Forever. Shout out to Sebastian. We talked about it on this podcast. It's just, there's so much coming. It's so crazy. Sea of Stars has like a great Metacritic score. And it's so well beloved, and that's an indie title. Indie games are absolutely killing it. Shout out to 6-1 Indie. It's just this is probably one of the best gaming years, if not, it's probably gonna go down as the best gaming year. Oh yeah, Street Fighter 6, Mortal Kombat 1 just came out. I'm not even playing that. I don't even have money for it. Mortal Kombat 1's out. That's killing me. But there's so many games out. That's the crazy thing. That's the crazy thing about 2023. There's so many games out. And I think if we just take a moment just to pause and just enjoy video games, I think we're gonna have a great time. But I won't say that this doesn't suck for Xbox at all. To see these leaks, just to reiterate what I said earlier, this sucks. This sucks absolutely. There's somebody who's been toiling away for like 2 years, and because Phil Spencer wants to buy Activision Blizzard, now all the stuff he's been working on just got leaked, and he didn't get to have his moment. To be like, oh man, let me go on Reddit. Is that said dead yet? No, it is. Anyway, let me go on Twitter. Oh wait, no, that one's dead too, isn't it? We're gonna die. Blue Sky, Threads. Let me go on there. Oh, everyone's talking. So, they love this Brooklyn console design. Like, God, man, that sucks. That just sucks. It's gonna be really interesting, man. What we see. Again, we're just in September 2023. Again, we got a couple more months at 2023, and we're kicking off 2024 with like a stacked 2 months with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Tekken 8, and oh God, who knows what else is gonna just randomly pop up in those early months, man. Final Fantasy 16 came out. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I have a Final Fantasy podcast, and I didn't even talk about Final Fantasy 16. It's just crazy. It's just a crazy time in video games and in software in general. And then you compound all this craziness with people buying other companies and other companies going under, unfortunately, and consoles being leaked and just craziness. But thank you for rocking with me. Thank you for hanging out with me. I appreciate you. I love you guys. Happy Hispanic Heritage Month. It's not going to be the last for a little bit that you see me. I'm going to try to do a little more consistent schedule. There will be a little lull because I am going on vacation very soon. Shout out to Universal. Um, but I'm gonna try to do some more content, get that out there. Maybe some more Let's Plays. Spider-Man right around the corner. Yet again, I'm telling you. But thanks. Yeah. If you liked it, if you're watching on video, go to the audio section, give a 5-star review, tweet it out, tell your family, tell your friends. If you're listening to audio, go to youtube.com/nerdtoday, click subscribe, click the little bell icon to get notified. And if you got a couple bucks to toss me, that helps so much actually build Nerd Today. You have no idea. Honestly, it really, really does. Any little thing helps. Go to patreon.com/nerdtoday. Again, links are down below for everything. I love you all. I'll see you in the next one.